And welcome to another episode of Virtual Courtside with Dirk and Harris. I'm Harris. That's my ever so lovely co-host, Dirk. Dirk, how you doing? Happy Wednesday this time. We're actually recording our podcast on the right day.
Yeah, excited. Got a new haircut. Head to
You
All
look great.
Star to tomorrow, so it'll be fun to go out there. Finally, get to see what all the NBA 2K League alley hype is all about.
hmm
And yeah, I mean, we could start off the news right off the top of the show. We're coming back this year for commentary.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We can. I guess we can open with that. We will be back. It's as people could probably tell from the schedule. It's a very different way. Like I won't be on the
Yeah,
broadcast every night this year. I'll be on the broadcast for most nights, but not every night. Dirk will be on. I think for like 98% of nights, but even you will miss a
yeah,
couple. So it's gonna be a little different.
yeah. Definitely like vibe change. Obviously, 3 days a week, a lot of games to go through. So
Mhm.
we're still kind of figuring everything out, right? Of how everything is actually going to maneuver in terms from a broadcast perspective. But
Yeah.
we will be back. We will
On
be back.
on a personal level, I guess I can announce this now. We will actually be sunsetting Section 400 this year, so I'll just get to be a normal member of the desk. Which, like, I feel like we need to play taps for it. I feel like we need to have, like, a Viking funeral where we send off the logo in a boat and just fucking launch a flaming arrowhead
Yeah,
over a
well, we
lake.
we have your Section 400 shirts, and I would hate for your parents' hard
Yes.
work to go to waste. But is this something that we put on a little boat, we set it on fire, and just ride it off
The
into the
shirts
Rock
can be
River?
used as fuel for the fire. But yeah, I'll be on the normal desk this year. When we get in person, I think we'll do more stuff like I did with the big board this year at the draft, where
Yeah.
it's like a little bit more interactive with me and my surroundings. But for the most part, yeah, no Section 400. Just from what I gather, I don't think I'm going to be doing hosting for 3v3. I think it's going to be a lot more casual and conversational. I think that's going to be the general tone this year, is that it's going to be a little bit more casual and conversational. So it'll be
Yeah,
fun.
especially for threes, like it's always hard to kind of explain to people, but remote broadcasting, I'm not going to say it's hard. It sucks. It's not fun to broadcast remotely. It's like the same for players. It's not fun to play remotely. You'd much rather be getting all that energy in person. So yeah, if we every single night like we have done in the past, if we commentated 3v3 of all modes, as serious as possible, might be one of the more draining things that we could ever do. So yeah, I expect a little bit more of a laid back, just fun, let loose vibe is kind of what I feel like we're all going for. But
Mhm.
of course, like those big games, right? Like the tournament
Oh
finals,
yeah.
the semifinals, things along those lines, getting a little bit more serious with things. So hey, we're back. We have money.
We're back. We have money. It's gonna be a fun year. Excited for it. It's shorter year. You and I are gonna have to figure out what the hell we're gonna do for the rest of
Man,
2024. Man, the season ends like the end of June.
I have been thinking about the future a lot, and each time I think about it, I just get more and more anxiety realizing because like
Yeah,
people are like, "Oh yeah, well in June we'll be out here for this," and I'm like, "That's it." And because usually we're there till August and running the season, so
yeah.
it's a little strange. So I mean, I already have some stuff I'm gonna do to keep me busy during the season. So,
Do you
but
want to
yeah,
something
it'll
super
be
weird?
weird.
Do you want something
What's up?
super weird? This will weird you out. This is gonna be our first non bye week July 4th in like 5 years.
We're working on the 4th of July.
We're not working on the 4th of July this year.
Oh,
That's my point. Usually we have the 4th of July,
oh,
but it's
because the
like a bye
season's
week.
done.
Yeah, usually it's by a bye week. We're not even getting
See,
to July 4th
I
this
don't
year.
even know when the season's done. I'm gonna be honest
I
with you.
got you,
Like,
buddy. It ends June 28th. So we have the entire
damn.
month of July and August back this year, which is a bit funky. Um, yeah, it's a different schedule. I think people I think it's going to add to the intensity of it, honestly. I think we're seeing that in the NBA where it's just too many games. It's too many games in the NBA. 82 has kind of crossed the line, and I
Yeah.
think while we would like more fives games, I just think the season being a little bit shorter might actually be for the best. Everything will be a little bit more intense. Everything means a little bit more. I do think a shorter season, Dirk, means that we are going to have how do I put this? There's going to be a bigger distinction, I think, in prize money made between teams. Like, I think we're going to see a big separation between the big teams that make money this year and the teams that make no money. I think a lot of it's going to be consolidated at the top. And I also wonder what this bodes for future season structures, right? Like if we're ending this early, what is the season after going to look like? Is it even going to be, a 2K League season? Like, what is it exactly going to be? I think is a fair question at this point. But the good news is, at least for this season, we will be there. And what's even weirder, Derek, is We start in 2 weeks, buddy. Like literally 2 weeks from today, you and I will be on a 2K. Well, actually, you and JT will be on a 2K League broadcast. I will not be on the first Wednesday. But it's just wild to think that we're going to be working within 2 weeks. We're doing our full 3v3 preview next week.
Yeah. I don't know if it's because we're not that far into the year yet, is why it feels a little funky that we're starting so soon. But mentally, am I ready for it? No, because it's 2 weeks away. And I usually at this point, I'm like, oh man, we got what, like another month to go through and, get everything sorted out. So, I mean, I'll get myself ready. I feel like going out to here to All-Star, getting an actual in-person commentary rep for the first time since the damn combine, will change some things up.
Yeah. By the way, before we move on to All-Star, I want to let you know that I saw the movie Madam Web today. Just terrible. so like it just the whole time we were watching this, Mariah and I were watching the movie, we were like, why did they make this movie? why did we create such a thing?
Is Madam Web like in the same, is it Marvel? I don't watch
It's supposed to be, it's another one of the Fox Spider-Man movies. It's made by the same people who made that film Morbius that was also really bad. And it just, listen, I'm not the biggest Dakota Johnson fan, so she wasn't great. Do you know what? If Sydney Sweeney was playing Madam Web, it would have been better. Just she's a far better actress. But
this is why I don't watch movies, just because I would hate to pay money to go and be miserable during a movie.
But see, that's the thing. We went into it knowing it was going to be bad, so we were able to enjoy it and laugh at it as we went, and that's really the glory.
Are the reviews really like this? Movie stinks?
It's got like 23% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a horrible script. I mean, just as somebody who really likes movies and watches a lot of movies, I can't believe that like this is the script that they put forward, like for a Marvel movie or a superhero movie. It was shocking. It was like they had no villain. The villain's first like 3 lines was like, I have to get to them before they take down my empire. And then they never explain what his empire is. He just goes on this rant about how they're going to take him down. But like, we don't know who he is and why. I don't know. It's a whole thing. It's bad.
So who's the villain in this movie?
I don't know.
Who's
I don't
the
even
villain?
know his name.
Who's the villain in Spider-Man?
There's a lot of villains in Spider-Man. You got like Green Goblin. You got the Lizard. You got Big Wheel, who they haven't put in a movie yet, and they need to. You got Sandman. Sandman's a great one. Electro. But I literally couldn't even tell you what the name of the villain was for the movie. That's how bad it was. All right, that's enough of the tangent on that. Let's talk a little bit about All-Star. Dirk, you will be there. I will not. Very jealous. I love All-Star Weekend. I've always wanted to go to one.
We missed something.
What? What'd I miss?
Post-draft.
Oh, right. Yeah, we can talk about that. So recently it has been a topic on social media, most notably by the 2K twins who pointed this out, that 2K League players are able to play in post-draft tournaments this year, which is a pretty big shift from the past couple of years. You asked Joe Gallant about it. What did he say?
Yeah, so I'd been seeing it. Usually for people who don't know, or maybe you haven't been keeping up with it, as soon as players got drafted, from that point on, they could not play like any tournaments. I'm pretty sure it's always been strict that way, or at least until they got into market. Like if they had a WR thing to finish up, I think like they could be in like the final 4 of a WR, and they're like, nope, you can't play in it. Have to go find a sub and get somebody else for it. I think this is definitely the first year ever where players are actually allowed to play in post draft.
Yeah.
So like they could play WRs, they could play SIBA, they could play overnights. But I got the word from Joe. He says only if their 2K team allows it, and if it doesn't conflict with the 2K schedule, then they can play in those. I don't like that at all. I think that if you're a player in the league and you are playing retail and you have to jump back over to the league build, I think that just is very, very detrimental to the way that you play the game. I haven't really got I got my code for league, but I haven't loaded it up yet. I know visually it looks different. I'm wondering in terms of gameplay, how different it actually feels. The only way I can maybe agree and say, you know what? Yeah, go ahead. There's a lot of guys who will not touch the floor for threes and will only play in 5. So they're going to have 3 months of doing whatever. So maybe this is their way to keep other players active and actually engaged. And especially, for some who want to continue making content too, right? We always talk about it's hard to make content around the league build. So what better way you can turn on live streams and go play. So I have like mixed emotions about it. Definitely when we get to fives, if you are touching anything post draft,
Yeah.
just stop.
It's a little weird for me. I'm not gonna lie. I guess for me, it's more of like why. Like, why do you want to? Maybe it's for guys who like want to continue playing with their IRL friends, or they want to continue just playing with their post draft buddies. But like, I don't get it. I personally think it's really silly. I also I don't want to shame them too much, but I also feel like you have been given the glory and the pleasure to play on the league build and to compete in the 2K League. Why are you going back? That would be this feels like a Major League Baseball player going to play with a bunch of AAA guys for fun. It's like, okay, you can do that as like injury recovery, but you shouldn't be willingly playing in AAA just for fun. Like, get on the league build, play more hours on the league build, find people to play tens with, shoot around yourself. Like, playing more retail is not going to help you in the league. It's just not. And I feel like once you get to this time of year with the season 2 weeks away, like you just got to stay sharp. You just got to.
I agree.
It's a funky one. I guess I would just never think like me personally, I would never want to do that as a league pro. I'm also not a league pro, so I can't speak to their own competitiveness. But look, I played the league build a good amount today after Madam Web, which was terrible. So I needed the that was kind of the shot. The league build was the chaser. And the league build's great, man. Like it's really smooth. It's really hard to shoot. I was having a lot of problems, but I also stink, so I can't say I'm too surprised. I did use BP's jump shot, and I got a lot better. So shout out to BP for the Patty Mills. What is it? He's got the Patty Mills upper. Then it's Treyman, Darius Garland, 60-40 bottom release, and it was fantastic. Yeah. Really enjoyed it. The poppers look really good, Dirk. You'll be happy to hear they move pretty well. Happy to report that their like foot speed isn't an embarrassment to the game of basketball, which sometimes the poppers have been. So those look good. The lock builds, I don't really know what they were before the patch. Well, I do know what they were before the patch. I'll still tell you this. The lock builds this year in both 3s and 5s are going to be really good. I just don't, honestly, Dirk, what I think it is, I don't think there is a way to make a competitive lock build on this version of 2K without making it like absolutely ridiculous, because there's a very fine line, I think, for locks where if you aren't over the line to making the lock almost too good, it's going to be terrible. Like, you have to almost make it too good or it's going to get burned all the time. It's a probability game. Like, I would rather the lock go into every situation with a slight like 60-40 advantage that it's going to win that battle, because if you switch it the other way and you say, okay, you're only going to win 40% of every one-on-one matchup you have, oh my God, we're going to have points in the hundreds. Like, just over the course of a season, you're going to lose that coin flip a lot. So the lock builds are pretty nuts. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I mean, I'd much rather have a lock build that can do too much than do too little. I think is with that in that position. I think the league is at its best when 1 through 5 can make plays. So if that means that the lock builds are crazy juice, so be it. Hopefully that means that the centers can do a little bit more as well. I know a lot of people missed that center play that we saw in like season 3, season 4 with the Euros, the hops and stuff too. So I think if that's the case, if things end up going that way, of course, I have to probably I'll talk to like Dave Fry when I'm out in Indy, and ask him about, all right, what kind of vibe are we getting this year? Are you just back to either popping or just throwing the ball down low and dunking it, or are we going to see a little mix up?
I'm very interested to see the centers this year. I feel like we spent all off season talking about how unimportant the center position is. And do you know what I think that comes down to, Dirk? I think what it comes down to is that there just aren't a lot of great centers in Pro-Am right now. And I feel like we're about to get into the league and we're all about to be reminded how important the center position actually is, because there's still just so many world-class talent, or so many world-class players and world-class talent at that position, that it's almost impossible for it not to be insanely impactful. So I'd be surprised if it's as bad as like we've seen in retail. I mean, in retail, it's a glorified corner, right? Like it's a cone that rebounds and slips, but like, I feel like in the league build, it's going to have to pass. You're going to have to shoot. You're going to have to be able to defend one-on-one, corner, and pick and roll, rotate. Like, there's just a lot of stuff that you're going to have to be able to do as a center in order to be, I guess, one of the best in the world. So the best of the best will always rise to the top. And I bet you the best of the best aren't playing post-draft.
Oh, 1,000%.
Take that. All right, now let's talk about All Star. I would love to talk more about the league build, but it's hard. We haven't really heard much from the players about it yet. I'm kind of relying on you when we go to All Star to like hear how it is. We have a designation of like one guy from each position, right? So you can ask Dave Fry about the centers, you can ask Cooks about the point guards, you can ask Awkward about the locks. Like you can kind of poke around a little bit. Mama will be there for the shooting guards, so. We'll have more next week, and like I said, next Wednesday will be a much longer episode. We're gonna preview 3v3. We're gonna talk about the tournaments. We're gonna talk about the groups. We're gonna talk about the teams. We'll give some predictions. It'll be a fun long one. So next week, if you're traveling, this will be a great airplane podcast for you because it's gonna be a juicy one. All right, let's talk about 2K League All-Star Alley. You are going this weekend to Indianapolis. Seems like the NBA staff was able to fight through the insane snowstorms of the past couple days. Everybody got there safe and sound. I will say I love the roster that the 2K League has been able to cook up here. I'm sure the budget for this event is just absolutely outrageous. God bless our accounting department. But I mean, we got Tyrese Maxey, we got Tyreek Hill. We announced that obviously Halliburton is the headliner, which is awesome. Obviously, the face of the franchise for the Indiana Pacers, and they're the ones hosting All-Star, so that's a great get. Obviously a couple influencers will be there too. Pico will be there, so it's a great roster. I won't lie. I'm just interested in how exactly the league is going to execute, because to be honest with you, Dirk, not to bash the league too much, but they've tried these showcase events and these showdown events in the past, and they have not always worked as intended. So I'm interested to see how this one goes.
Yeah, I think right, when comparing this event to any of the other showcases, this is easily the biggest platform where honestly a 2K League event has ever been.
Yeah.
Right, an NBA All-Star. I mean, how much foot traffic that there's going to end up being, like all this other stuff. So I think I think it'll be different. And I think that we have a lot of different names, and we actually have NBA players now. And we have some NBA players who are really, really on the come up, MVP candidates, things along those lines, guys that are just kind of taking over the league, like seeing that the younger players start to go. So I really do like it. I think that from a viewership perspective, I'm not sure how to be like watching it at home, right?
Yeah.
That's always the weird part.
Who knows?
Now, I think, right, you're the Indiana Pacers. You slap on Halliburton is going to be there. You're immediately. I have one of my IRL friends who's a Pacers fan. He has a bunch of family lives in Indiana. I told him that Halliburton's playing in this game. He put me in a group chat with like his brother, his aunt, his grandpa, all them. Like, let them know they really want to go see him play in person.
That's awesome.
So I think that'll be the different part of it, and I think it's just going to be something unique, right? Because as much as they put on these for fun, when you put professional athletes in any type of competitive environment, gets a little dicey.
I have to apologize to our viewers. I just coughed in all their ears because I had muted myself on Discord, but I forgot that I'm also recording myself on OBS. So I apologize to the people whose ears that I just coughed into in the middle of your segment.
Wait, what happened?
You didn't hear me.
You coughed?
I did, but I muted myself in Discord, so you couldn't hear me, but everybody else on the episode could. And now, instead of going back and editing the cough out, I'm not going to edit the cough out anymore because this is hilarious. Because you didn't hear me cough. You're the only person who didn't hear me.
I'm so confused.
You're good, buddy. The people who are listening to the podcast will understand. Let's go through the teams that we're going to see this weekend. So first matchup will be Team Halliburton versus Team Maxey. Team Halliburton is obviously Tyrese Halliburton, Cash Nasty, and Dave Fry. Then you have Tyrese Maxey, Micah Parsons, and Bear to Beast. That'll be matchup 1. That'll be a lot of fun. Matchup 2, it'll be Jeff Teague, Zach TTG, and Mama I'm Dat Man versus Laurie Markkinen, Tyreek Hill, and Ant. That is going to be a fiery bunch. That'll be fun. Next one, you'll have WNBA star Ryan Howard, DJ Wookid, and Unguardable going up against Danny Green, Darius Slay, and Just Awkward. That's pretty cool. And then lastly, we got Obi Toppin, Troy Dan, and Cooks with Chelsea Gray, It's Pika with Ball Like Seam. Honestly, that team Laurie Markkinen, Tyreek Hill, and Ant team is fascinating. I will say, Dirk, we put out the we one of our questions we did a couple weeks ago on our pod was asking, who's going to be the next face of the league, right? And who are going to be the guys that the league really promotes? And we got our answer. The answer,
we nailed the top four, by the way.
We did. We did. The answer is Day Fry, Bear, Mama, and Ant. They are the four who have been selected to really headline this event. Not to say that Unguardable, Awkward, Cooks, and Seam are not star players, but at some point you got to make business decisions, and at some point you got to decide who's going to be the people that you put out in front. I will say let me try to phrase this in a way that makes sense. I have been interested seeing the reaction to Ant's climb to the top of popularity in this league. I think a lot of it, obviously everything that happened with him, with the disgruntled language, is that a good way to put it? The bad language that happened to him back when he was a kid. Seeing how it's kind of like stuck to him after all these years, despite like all the success and all the money and all the glory that he's accomplished. It's interesting. And obviously I'm not the right person to make an opinion on this, which is why I'm just interested observing and seeing the reaction to it. But it honestly, the most interesting thing to me is that the league has kind of just like, they're just doing what they want with him. Like they don't really, it's not really getting in their way. It's not really stopping them in their plans. And I wonder if the community as a whole is okay with that. It seems like the 2K League community is definitely split on it. So I'm just interested to see how his stardom continues to evolve over the next couple of years, because he's definitely the new villain of the league for sure. Like he's absolutely got that crown, but with that crown comes a lot of popularity, and some of it not always the best.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like what people don't realize is that when you go for the league, you have to go through a lot of background stuff. Not just a background check, but a full deep dive social media check across every social media platform you have ever made. As soon as they type in your name and you have ever registered an account with that name, it would pop up on your thing. So obviously for a lot of players throughout the course of the history of the league have been removed from the pool from those reasons.
Yeah.
Some have been removed from the pool and said, hey, take this, sensitivity class for X reason and go do that. Then you can get in. That's kind of like what Ant's situation was like, right? He said the stuff that he did back, I think it was when he was like 15, 16 years old, around there. There was the instance when I was in the party with him where people thought he had said something, which he didn't. There was a bunch of us in the party that time. And that clip is actually what got him removed from the pool the first time.
Yeah, I was going to say, he actually did get removed from the pool.
Yeah, it wasn't the clip from a long time ago. It was that clip.
Yeah.
To which I even submitted and said he did not say the word. We're all in the party with him. If he would have said the word, we all would have been freaking out and left.
Yeah,
I would have stopped talking to him entirely. But then, you take the year off, you do the right things, take the necessary precautions. If you have to take a class, you take a class. And I always trust the league's judgment with these things. I don't think there's people who are in the league that, if for like the league's point of view, if it was really that bad, they wouldn't be involved. But they've gone through the necessary things, like from very top of HR all the way going down to everybody at that level. So it's the reality of it. That thing it's going to stick with him forever.
Sure.
No matter what he does, there's always going to be one or two tweets below or one or two comments below about that. But I mean, he's continuing just going out there doing his thing. The league continues to promote him. He keeps giving viral clips. And, that's what makes the league kind of stay on the map, right? All those TikTok clips that we get that reach those 1.5 million followers that Bear does, and what Ant does, with Dre being involved with all those. So, yeah, I think we had brought it up, the clear-cut top four faces of the league.
Yeah.
I don't think there's truly any question about that. Again, I still throw Dimes in there. I'm kind of shocked that Dimes isn't.
Yeah, it seems like the Bucks just miss out on their social numbers.
Yeah.
Doing this, I think. No, I'm not trying to hate on Pacers Gaming at all here. I don't know if Pacers Gaming made the cut, but I feel like because it's in Indiana, they gave it to them. I feel like the other one is probably Magic Gaming, because the deal might have been, hey, we're gonna host. If you host the draft for us, we'll bring you with us to All-Star. I don't know if that's like a, an under the table deal, but we're missing a couple teams that I'm surprised with. Like, no Hornets is surprising. They've always been one of the bigger teams. Like you said, no Bucks either. So it's interesting. And, the convert in me whenever the NBA, at least from the NBA 2K League perspective, whenever the NBA makes decisions, I usually just kind of follow their lead. Like, they're just so corporate and they're so buttoned up about stuff like this that if they're kind of okay with it, I usually just trust their decision making. There have been very few decisions that the NBA has made from like a suspension standpoint when it comes to our guys, or I should say a punishment standpoint with our guys, that I've disagreed with. I can't really think of one off the top of my head, but look, it's always going to be a conflicted situation. I think it's one that we kind of, how about this? I don't think he'll ever get the benefit of the doubt again. When it comes to situations like this, if something were ever to happen, and you kind of saw with the Ramo thing, right? Like, already his reputation, like, doesn't allow him to get the benefit of the doubt with that stuff. People were talking about how he's a rat and this and that. When in doubt, like, all he did was report an incident to the NBA, and the NBA was the one that took it up a level. So it's like, he's never going to get the benefit of the doubt, and I think he just has to be okay with it. But I think it is interesting that the league is going to look to promote guys like Dave Fry and Bear, I think, over him always. Like, as long as Dave Fry and Bear are in the league, I think those are always going to be our one or two guys. Like, Ant might always be kind of the tier under. Like, we got the 5v5 finals MVP with Mama, but in terms of the two guys you're putting on the poster, the fact that it's still Dave Fry and Bear, even with Dave Fry taking a full season off from the league, I think is pretty shocking. And I would agree with you. I think number 3 would probably have to be Dimes. A bit of a missed opportunity that he's not there. But he did also just announce that he is going to be a father. So congrats to Dimes, man. That's
congrats.
That's huge. But yeah, it's interesting, man. The looking at the league politics and kind of seeing how their decision making and how it gets shown out publicly is fascinating to us nerds, at least.
Yeah. But it is like, it's good that I mean, I feel like as long as Dave Fry and Bear in here, they'll always be the ones that get promoted.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless there was like an immediate drop off from either of them with gameplay. I think Bear more so than Dave Fry would still stay on the map. Like, say if Bear came out and just absolutely wasn't doing anything. Kind of like, honestly, how the T-Wolves were in his rookie season. They were not very good in that first half, but guess what? Bear was going out there, giving what they wanted on the microphone. Dave Fry might be a little bit different. Like, if Dave Fry's play immediately dropped off, I don't know. You don't want to see a decline like that, especially after the career he's had, but it'd be really hard to keep that same level of trajectory that he had before he ended up retiring. So yeah, it is worth mentioning too. I don't know if anything will change at this point. The only 2 matchups actually being streamed are the Halliburton Maxey and the Teagan Markkinen matchups.
Okay.
And I think the other ones are just going to be going on in studio at the 2K Alley event. From my understanding, again, we've been working in broadcasting for a while. Things can change in an instant. I could show up there and be like, "Hey guys, this 2-hour show is now 4 hours. We're going to be doing all these games." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool."
I hope
so
not.
there's gonna be some cool stuff with it too. They're doing a trivia segment, questions. I gave you some of the questions, and you were like, "Damn, these are pretty damn."
Give one for the audience. We'll see if they can. Do it. Come on, they were so hard. There's no way that anybody's gonna get.
Let me give one.
Do one. Just one.
I don't know if it's gonna make the cut or not.
All right.
How many quintuple doubles across all NBA affiliated leagues have there ever been? So across the NBA, the G League, the WNBA, the NBA Africa League, and the NBA 2K League.
I'll tell you one thing, man. Since you already told me the answer, I'm not going to say the answer. But at some point, Victor Wembanyama is going to be on that list. that man is going to get he's going to get 30, 10, and 10 one night, or 30, 15, and 12 one night, and then just have 10 steals and 10 blocks just for fun. Just because he's that good.
You know what's going to be the hardest part about that question is including every league and factoring in a video game league into that question.
I don't think anybody has ever gotten close to having a quintuple double in the 2K League. I think we've had a couple people close to a quadruple double.
But you would think in a video game, right? Like, these guys might be playing 2K to maybe play My Career, played the Rec, and gotten close to that. If there is a place where there would be a quintuple double, you would think it would happen in a video game because it is so uncharacteristic. And I think the only closest person ever getting one was Akeem Olajuwon.
We've had triple doubles that have included steals and blocks before. I know, obviously, we've had triple doubles with points, rebounds, assists. I know we've had triple doubles with one of those removed and steals and blocks happening. And of course, we've always had the infamous double-double with points and turnovers, which is one of my favorites. I love when people do that when they get called out for having 10 turnovers in a game, and they're like, "Oh man, he had a double-double."
They said that about Wemby on this triple-double night. I think Charles Barkley was like, "Yeah, he was 2 turnovers away from a quadruple-double." And then the event is going on Saturday as well, but there's not any like broadcast or anything. I
Yeah.
think it's just a lot more social content. They have Warzone streamer Joe Woe
Joe Woe.
going to the event. I thought initially I saw his tweet. It makes it seem like he's playing people one-on-one in actual basketball.
Yeah.
But he is not. He
He's
is playing
not.
everybody one-on-one in 2K, which Joe Woe will not win a single game.
You don't think so?
Not a chance. I would be
what
shocked
if he is an
if Joe Woe won.
absolute crack shot at 2K?
Well, there's one thing I have learned, like with the guys who are really good at Call of Duty, the one thing that they're good at in 2K is timing a meter, which I feel like would be the one thing you're like, oh, wow, okay. Yeah, you got it.
Why would they be good at that?
Just reaction timing and getting the timing down to like releasing. It's something that's like the only thing I feel like could ever carry over from like other like Call of Duty, CSGO, stuff like that.
I
It's all
think
about the
people
timing.
who are just good at video games are good at all video games. Like I feel like it's funny. I've learned this as I've started learning stock trading over the past couple months. You don't realize how bad the bottom tier of people are at certain things until you start doing it yourself. And I feel like most, like, let's take one of our, 2K League players. Let's just say like Carry or something. I bet you Carry is better at Call of Duty than like 95% of people on planet Earth. He might not be able to touch the top 5%, but I'm telling you, like, that's how many bad players there are when it comes to gaming. There's so much crap and
Not
like,
anymore
awfulness out there.
These guys are too damn good nowadays.
But that's the thing. You see the top of it because you are in that top echelon. Like, you don't even realize that you're in the top echelon until you realize how bad the bottom 90% of people are at most things.
Well, guess what? We'll never get to test it out because skill-based matchmaking.
Exactly.
Is a thing, so
there you go. We'll never know.
The rest of the schedule, though, after that, so there's Joe Woe. They do a social follow giveaway. I don't know what the prizes are. They're doing a dance contest.
Oh, you better win. You better win. Come on. Pop
then
lock
they're
and drop
doing.
it.
I'll go to my classic Fortnite thing where I do a handstand and then just spin and then lay down. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, you do the do the L dance too if you want.
They have a celebrity DJ set.
Okay.
I don't know who the celebrity DJ is.
Hold on. Is it DJ Woo Kid?
I have no idea.
No, because he's playing.
And then the main event, which everybody's probably going to go to, you get to play Ronnie 2K a one-on-one, which I might take him up on that because I have lost to Ronnie twice when I've played him in 2K.
What?
So I feel like the only 2 games I've ever played against Ronnie were those showcase games.
Oh, right. Yeah, when you were playing 5v5. Right.
Yeah.
Didn't you cook him one of the games? Were you like screaming in his face?
I literally just fried him the entire game.
I remember you vividly yelling at him on stage and him being really
I remember
confused.
screaming. It was like, really? That's happening in your game, Ronnie? This is happening in your game? You let this happen? And then I lost. I'm like, whatever. And then he blocked me on Twitter. And then at 5 p.m., it's the Pacers gaming team takeover.
Okay.
So the entire Pacers team will be out there. Then there's a music performance by Katori Walker.
Are you still
performing songs from?
By the way.
No, not anymore.
All right, good.
I was really confused why I was even blocked anyway before that. And then, so he's going to be performing NBA 2K soundtrack songs and the official 2K anthem, which I don't know if the 2K anthem's changing. Usually we get a new one every single year.
2K anthem? Oh, 2K League anthem.
2K League anthem, sorry.
Okay.
And then
2K's
7 p.m. to wrap up the NBA 2K League Alley. You guessed it. It's karaoke.
Hey, no way. Seriously?
Show off your pipes with karaoke at 7 p.m. Open mic karaoke.
Oh,
night.
Dirk, come on. You gotta do an NBA All-Star League Careless Whisper. You have to do it. You have to do a Careless Whisper.
Well, here's the dilemma I'm in, right? Because we have the broadcast Friday, technically Saturday. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah.
I know I've been told by one person that I could leave on Saturday. I've been told that I need to stay Saturday, do some other stuff, and then go on Sunday since I am being paid for 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Allah's birthday celebration is on Saturday in Chicago.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So I have a choice to make to where if I do have to make a decision, well, one, the flights are very expensive to go from if to change my flight from Sunday to Saturday is like $250.
Damn.
Craziness.
No need for that.
I could probably just call Amex and have them deal with it. But yeah, so that's the dilemma I'm in. The good part about this, Harris, Indy to Chicago flight is 35 minutes.
There you go.
So if worst comes to worst, I think I could probably find a bus shuttle service from the Indianapolis airport all the way up to Chicago to get me there within like 3 hours.
So basically what you're telling me is that you have the choice between being with your girlfriend for her birthday or you can sing "Careless Whisper" at the NBA 2K League alley during the NBA 2K or the NBA All-Star game in Indianapolis.
Okay, on the count of 3, we say which one's more worth
Okay,
it. Ready?
1, 2,
1, 2, 3.
3.
Careless
Karaoke.
Whisper,
Yeah.
NBA 2K League
Yeah,
alley.
Kevin karaoke.
I hope she doesn't listen to this, but
Hey,
yeah,
yeah.
that's. I think I don't know. It's the first of its kind, right? Because like when we've historically talked about the league and getting NBA players involved, I feel like this is the vision that we've had laid out for past 6 years, right? Of like NBA players, other athletes,
Yep.
big time influencers. So we got
Huge.
Troy Dan, we got Cash, Zach is always in front of the show, Pika. Like that's a big four to be involved with it. So I'm really interested to see how it's going to go, because I feel like that could shape the direction of where, like when we do like in-person events,
Yeah.
you know, like what's the vibe, right? Like these guys might play 2K retail, but what's it going to be like with them on the league builder? Are they going to struggle, or are they going to have some fun with it? You know, how are things going to end up going? So I'm looking forward to it. Getting out there. Me and Autumn will just be doing our thing. Handheld microphones, walking around and broadcasting.
Really?
Sometimes.
Oh, really? Oh, we're going mobile.
I have been given the green light like I have asked for so long. Can I just get a microphone and just commentate around the stage?
Oh, wouldn't that be fun? We should do that this year, man. We should go like full like WWE, or sorry, not WWE. We should go like full UFC style and just be like circling the stage while we broadcast.
I have been given the green light that if I want to get off the little caster's desk with my microphone, and if I just want to go up and commentate by the stage.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine during the season this year? Like, let's just say like we're doing like a Knicks gaming game, and you're just like behind somebody, and you're like, Feast hits a corner 3 to win the game, and you're calling it from behind him, and he just turns around and jumps on you while you're broadcasting. I need that this year. I need that. He just takes the microphone. I'm him. I did it.
The equivalent of when like UFC fighters knock somebody out, they jump over the cage and immediately run up to like John Anik and Joe Rogan, like
they steal the mic.
So yeah,
that's fun.
It'll be a fun time. I'm hoping that even if teams didn't get like selected their players to go here, I'm still hoping that there's some teams to go out there and shoot some content, like to travel out there and you know, take it all in.
Yeah.
That is too, like all those people that are participating, they're still going to be, we've been told, we don't know who yet, but we have just been told, be ready for anybody to jump on the broadcast. Could be a celebrity, could be an influencer, could be NBA players. You never know. So I'm like, cool. I think we'll be ready.
I think it'll be fine. I mean, you know, you and Autumn are a great duo. So you guys will be fun. You'll be able to adjust anything that comes to you. And again, look, just again, props to the league. You know, if you're gonna do something like this, right, you might as well go all out on it, because if it works, at least you know, if it works, you can just do it again. But if it doesn't work, at least you know, okay, we put everything into it. We know that the maximum amount of effort on something like this doesn't work, so you can move on to another idea. I don't really disagree in that kind of strategy.
You should fly up.
I have been debating it because I'd love to network. I'd love to meet people. But at the same time, I don't know if I want to travel to Indy. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to.
I don't know. I think I'm just gonna be lazy. I think I'm just gonna chalk it up to laziness, and yeah, maybe next year.
Your watch party will go off.
Yeah,
I'm assuming you're gonna do a watch party during.
I will definitely doing a watch party this weekend. And you know what? Next year, after, you know, because I've decided that if the 2K League doesn't start in next October, I've decided I'm going to start doing like NBA live streams on Twitch, where I'm just going to like watch games and stuff, because there have been a bunch of streamers who started to do it, and I've liked it, and I think that I can be good at it too. So I want to start doing that next year. Maybe I'll do it this year, considering we're only going to be working like 2 nights a week.
I wish Twitch still had that the program. Where, like, I can't remember what it was. It was like a sports affiliate program where you could watch G League games or something like that.
Yeah.
And like on Twitch and actually commentate over them.
So
like
playback TV is starting to try to do something like that, but we'll see when I get into them. What I want to do is what you can do is that you can have the stream up on one screen and have like your OBS, and I want to just have like the live score bug going under me on big games, so like I can like watch a Celtics Heat game or something, and you can just see the score bug. But I'll figure it out. Honestly, I might do that on the nights that I'm not broadcasting and steal your viewership. What do you think, Dirk? Do you think more people will watch me or you and JT? You know the answer. Come on, say it. Say it with your chest. Oh, you think it's going to be you?
I have no idea.
Listen, the only thing you have on your side is Twitch notifications, okay? If we had the same amount of followers, Dirk, I would get there, okay? Me versus the 2K League channel, I'm there.
Oh, I thought you were talking about my personal channel.
Nah,
For a
you don't even
second.
have
Man,
a
I
Twitch
don't have.
anymore.
I don't have a partnership affiliate. I got
You
nothing.
got nothing. Let's see. Before we close it out, is there anything else we want to talk about? I talked about Showdown coming up this weekend. Big 3v3 preview episode coming next week. Maybe we'll try to get a guest on to come on with us to preview some threes. Maybe we'll get JT on to preview some threes.
Yeah.
That could be fun. Like I said, we'll go through all the teams. We'll go through the groups. We'll go through the tournament. It'll be a pretty easy one. And also, go listen to the interview with BD. Our interview with BD was great. It was fantastic. I went back and listened to it. Oh, we need to do another one. It was too short. I messed up with the Zoom. We got to get him on Discord.
I think everybody that all the stuff I saw was like, yeah, this is too short.
Why was this 30 minutes? And I was like, because it's a 40-minute Zoom, and we spent the first 10 minutes just bullshitting. We didn't start recording until we only had 30 minutes left. And I had to I wanted to ask him more about COVID and more about 2K. We fit COVID and 2K as topics into the last 4 minutes of the interview. We're watching the clock wind down while asking him about the two most impactful things to ever happen in the league. So, journalism degree.
we need to get BD a Discord. I don't think BD has a Discord account.
Oh man. Well, I promise I went to college for content creation. And I definitely know how to manage interview times. Leave me alone. All right. Any other notes before we close out? So anything else we did
think
talk
so.
about?
No, I think we.
Oh, this is I guess a depressing note. Obviously, sentiments to Kansas City today after the awful shooting during the Super Bowl parade. Terrible. Hate seeing stuff like that, especially during times of celebrations for a city that really revels in its Super Bowl parades. It just sucks. It's obviously awful.
Yeah, that's when we were at the start of the show and you were talking about something, I got off track, slowly speaking, and stopped and looked. I saw a video of people tackling one of the gunmen down. So I don't know if that means there was multiple or what it was, but I hate it. It's got to be my least favorite thing about the United States. As somebody who grew up in Europe, and I remember coming over here and even seeing a police officer with a gun, I was like, wow, police have guns here. This is really, really weird. So, yeah, I mean, here's the thing about the U.S. Everything is outdated. And all the people that are still in power are all very, very old and will not give away their ideology in the way that they like to go about their day-to-day life. We go by amendments that were made when the muskets were the Second Amendment right to bear arms.
Yep.
A long rifle that took you probably 15 to 20 seconds to be able to get one shot off, and you had to redo that. So I hate it.
The musket joke is
It,
still the funniest gun law joke.
and it's literally, that's what it was made off of, and there's never been any changes or anything made to it. So it is very disappointing. It always happens. I love in the US specifically.
I love that the only real connective tissue right now on in politics in the United States between both parties is all of us collectively looking at each other, shaking each other's hands, and saying, "Oh my God, why is everybody who's running the country so old?" We've all collectively been like, y'all got way too many wrinkles to be up there. Let's put y'all in some homes. Let's start getting some fresh blood in here. Even the older people are like, these people should not be in power. They're as old as us, and we can't do this. I don't know what they're doing. So
I dislike it. That's why
Travis Kelce for president.
This is why I hate politics. I will always hate politics because it is just a battle of the senior citizens going at it with nothing to really bring to the United States. So I wish I could be president, but I wasn't born in the U.S.
You can. I'll be president. Oh, sorry, I can't be president. No, that's not gonna happen.
I know what you're gonna say.
I never get voted president. Too many, people on both sides. All right, let's close it out there. We'll be back next week. Big 3v3 preview coming up. Season starts February 28th. All the action will happen first Wednesday. It's going to be fun, man. I'm excited for the season, regardless of what chaos may ensue.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. All right, we'll see y'all next week. Deuces.
Bye.